G'day everyone, Jason Nunn with this Friday's Fishing Report, proudly brought to you by Fisherman's Warehouse Marine at Sweet Street at Warners Bay. Here we are at Valentine, nice and early this morning too. And just the after effects of that thunderstorm that we had last night, quite a severe storm through the Lake Macquarie, Newcastle area. It's a bit of southwest, a little bit of light southwest. It's only around about 4 or 5 knots, and that will basically be today. We'll have that little bit of southwester, maybe a bit of an easterly later on. Tomorrow morning, of course, low tide around about 7:30. It's around about 0.72 of a low tide, so it's not a real low tide by any imagination, and around about 120 high tide tomorrow, but it's only 1.3 metres. Last quarter of the moon coming in on Monday. Blue water, of course. It's funny at the moment. I just had a look at sea surface charts. There's a little patch of water out there at the moment, only around about 24 degrees. So I don't know whether that's a little bit of a cool patch, like a cool upwelling, maybe as a direct result of those big nor'easters that we had, particularly over the weekend. So it'll be interesting to see how this weekend pans out. Still got 26 degree water out wider, but again, blue marlin, stripe, black marlin, some very nice dolphin fish out there on that wide area there. So a lot on offer. Tomorrow's forecast doesn't look as bad as what it really made out to be. Originally, they were talking about maybe 15, 18, maybe 20 knots of southerly tomorrow, but it seems to have downplayed itself. So I think tomorrow's quite fishable. Early morning nor'west and that little bit of a southeaster, I think, by late afternoon. And then Sunday looks particularly good before the next southerly change coming through on Monday. Plenty of bonito coastally, guys, all up and down the coast at the moment. Some really nice bonito. There's been a few nice reds getting caught on soft plastics on some of those close reefs in off Newcastle as well. So any of those guys taking advantage of that little nor'wester tomorrow morning, getting in close, throwing plastics around, some really nice reds right up in close. And the water on the beach at the moment, 23 degrees. Unbelievable, and it's that beautiful aqua look when you're coming into the channel, but right along the beach itself, just perfect at the present. Few cobia still slipping around, and there was a couple of reports this week, and I've got a couple of good photographs inside the lake. So not only off the coast with that 23 degree water temperature, but the cobia coastally and in the lake. And they're not big fish. I think some of these fish sort of like 5 to 8 kilo, but it's great to see that we're seeing some of these northern species physically come down along there. Few, dew if you want to fish on some of those inshore reefs, particularly live yellowtail or live slimies, particularly probably more live slimies if you're at Port Stephens way, but a lot of trag. But the trag are really fluctuating in size. I was talking to a few of the boys that were fishing up towards Barooby the other day. A lot of small trag up there. Might have caught 40 or 50 trag to actually get a feed. A lot of small fish. I reckon the better fish tend to be down around that sort of like Waibung area, Catherine Bay to Waibung. There's just a better trag down there at the present moment. And that's when you're getting mixed in with their mulloway, a few kingies of course, and again, a lot of bonito. Most of the guys that are catching the bonito are physically catching one floating bait, so that typical burley trail down along there and then picking them up. So there's some really nice bonito. I know the slender boys got some crackers over the last week, but there's some big bonito around. It's just, again, just going to sort of move around. If you're going to go onto the rocks this weekend, it doesn't look too bad. There's not lots of swell. Early mornings, we're starting to see some really nice tailor, and I got some reports this week of tailor up to around about 60 centimetres off the beach and also off our rock platform. So just had this turn of events as we've started to move into March, and obviously the first today, where we're now starting to see those autumn species be a bit more of an influence for our rock and beach. So some really nice tailor appearing early mornings at the moment. Not as many late afternoons, but certainly early in the morning, some really nice tailor along the beach, and that'll be the same up towards Stockton. So the beach is starting to come up together. Not a lot of brim on the beaches yet, but I reckon, on the result of all these thunderstorms and certainly rain we've had, that we weren't going to be too far away, and we'll start to see these travelling fish move in along our coastal beaches. If you're going to get into the estuary, guys, plenty of squid, and spoke to Craig Catterick this week, and exactly as we predicted, those squid in that deeper water, in around about that 8 to 9 metres of water at the moment, and some really nice lake squid around. But there's been a lot of mulloway in the lake itself, guys. A lot of those fish ranging, 75s up to sort of like a metre, but quite a lot of mulloway around, and influencing by that squid. Quite a few kings. There's a few kings down at the bridge, a bit of action down there throughout the week, but some really nice kings in the lake, and obviously still around Moon Island mixed in with those bonito. Brim, of course, Nesca Park, that area there, back around the islands, really producing some really good quality brim. My tip is try to fish the evening. And as this week moves through and we get into next week, that high tide will start to get closer to dark, and I really think that's going to be the key, because the next cycle is going to go through, we're going to go into that dark phase, and that'll be perfect. We may even see a little prawn run by this time next week. We'll be really curious to see how that actually pans out. A few whiting on the flats, and probably even a little bit of an opportunity to throw a few surface lures around for some of those whiting at the moment. But guys, it's starting to look good. We're starting to see those tailor move into the lake, and the flathead are just started transitioning around. I've had a lot of guys asking me about flathead at the present moment. There's some really nice fish around, but they've gone a little bit quiet. I think over the next few weeks, if this rain continues, we'll see that big flush out of flathead back out along the backs of the beaches and onto those shallow reefs on our inshore. So over the next few weeks, I think that we're going to see some really good fishing happening, and very, very humid. But today looks cracking to fish. This is a good opportunity to get out here now. Nice and overcast, no wind, good for a drift. I think you're going to get out there, boys. We're going to have a bit of a crack on the FIFA with a bit of luck tomorrow. Just caught up with Lucas down here at Valentine, and I'll see you next Friday.